What can we look for the Jets to do on Friday and Saturday of the NFL Draft? And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watu-K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So this is part 2 of my NFL draft preview video. For part 1, I'm going to put a link for that in the description. What we did there was we talked about the first 15 picks because it was more of a Jets-focused show. We projected those first 15 picks. And what I think the Jets will do, we focus specifically on offensive tackle since I feel that was the Jets' greatest need and the position they will most likely target. Now, on this show, what we're going to talk about is day 2 and day 3, round 2 going forward. Now, as of right now, the New York Jets only have 4 draft picks after the first round concludes. So this isn't necessarily a spot where you could say, okay, they need this, and this, and you have to check the boxes. When you have this few picks, I don't think position is quite as big of a need as it normally would be. You have to take players who are just going to be able to contribute, and if you miss out on a position, well, you can live with that, especially if you're the Jets, because in my mind, the Jets are good, at the very least good at the vast majority of positions. They don't have a whole lot of needs right now, but the ones they do have, in my mind, are pretty apparent. So we're going to start right now. Now, a lot of these players who I'm going to mention have been projected to the Jets. People have been talking about them, but I'm going to throw you one better. I'm going to give you 2 undrafted free agent targets who I have seen very, very, very few people talk about, who I think would be a really good fit in the green and white and sometimes black. So let's talk about it. With the number 43 pick, and I've done a couple of mock drafts, we were able to get him. And I sincerely hope this player falls to the Jets at 43. The pick is in. And in my mind, I really want the Jets to address defensive tackle quickly because I feel that is the position where they need a starter more than any other spot. I love Quinnen, of course, but he needs another animal right next to him. Solomon Thomas, Tanzel Smart, Quentin Jefferson, all right, fine. He can be a useful player, but I still think they need one more player. And to me, it's been the same guy for months. It's been mazismith. I've done a couple of mock drafts, and Mazi is consistently showing up as being available at this spot. 6'3", 323 pounds from Michigan. He could play the pass. He could play the run well. He's a one-technique defensive tackle who has that sneaky quickness, which I like. The one thing I guess he doesn't have is a whole lot of lateral range, but he could sink his weight really well with his compact build, and he could take on double teams well. He could absorb those double teams, and if Mazi's getting double teamed and Quinnen's in one-on-one coverage, oh my goodness, that's going to be lights out. And his athleticism is not to be forgotten. These were his combine numbers. 33-inch vertical jump, and I can tell you that's something the Jets want in their linemen. They want explosiveness, and the broad jump the vertical jump is a very good sign of that. He has a 9-foot 4-inch broad jump and a 6.953 cone time. That's absurd. For a defensive tackle, that's absurd. The guy is an amazing athlete. He's been productive. He can play the run. He can play the pass. I think he'd be an ideal fit. So number 43, if the Jets were to get mazismith and any one of those first 5 tackles, I would walk away from the draft happy. I really, really would. But then we would go to day 3. And of course, I'm not projecting any trades at this time, but I still see a need for center. I don't think it is as glaring a need as it was because now the Jets have a starter. They have Connor McGovern back. Now, as of this recording, the terms of the deal have not been released. But they have McGovern. I'm going to guess it's going to be for 1 year. It's probably a 2-year deal with an easy out. That's the type of deal I would have expected Joe Douglas to sign McGovern to. The market just didn't materialize for him, quite surprisingly. And I'm glad the Jets brought him back as insurance. So at 112, I expect most of the big guns to be gone. John Michael Schmitz, Joe Tippmann, Luke Whippler. I definitely think those 3 are going to be gone. I would love one of them, but I think that Ricky Stromberg from Arkansas will be available. I look for the Jets to snatch him up, much to Pro Football Focus's disgust, because they downright hate Stromberg. But he's also got that athleticism and explosiveness that the Jets want. His broad jump is 111 inches. He's got a 32.5-inch vertical jump. Those both rank at about the 90 percentile among all offensive linemen, which is really good. If you look at the relative athletic score, the RAS, it's a 9.57 out of 10, which is really impressive. Fifth-year senior, he allowed no hits, no sacks last season. He's got great upper body strength, and last year he really started to show his lower half power. That really worked well. He really drives with his legs when he's run blocking as well. And if absolutely needed, he can play guard. He has played both guard spots if that's what it comes to. So Ricky Stromberg, I think, would be a good developmental center for the Jets while McGovern starts this year. And, Stromberg could sort of be that, Swiss Army knife guard center if somebody goes down or somebody's game goes to hell or stays at hell like Laken Tomlinson did last season. You have Stromberg there as a very legitimate option, along with Tristan Colon and along with Wes Schweitzer. So Stromberg would be my pick. At 143, I do want to address safety. I think safety is going to be pretty important. I think Jordan Whitehead and Chuck Clark, I like them, but they are pretty similar. I still don't know if Whitehead is going to be on this team come September. Right now, it's really Tony Adams at free safety, and then you have, Will Parks, and Ashton Davis is really a special teamer at this point. So, to me, the Jets need to come away with another safety. And at 143, you're starting to lose out on some players. I wonder if some of these guys might drop. There's certain players like a Christopher Smith from Georgia. I've seen him projected in the top 90. I've seen him dropping to about 130 or 140, something like that. But I really hope it's a coverage safety, somebody who can pick the ball off, because last year the Jets had 16 turnovers in 17 games on defense. Good as that defense was, it would have made it a whole lot better if they could have turned the other team over. So I want somebody who could do that. The problem is at 143, it's pretty tough to find that type of a player. So if that's what it comes to, I would probably go. Jay Ward is one guy I would look at from LSU, but the guy I'm looking at right here is Ronnie Hickman from Ohio State. Very aggressive downhill safety, good at snuffing out plays. The Buckeyes would usually use him as sort of that +1 defender in the slot to stop runs, cover tight end. I mean, there have been so many issues last year with the Jets either covering a tight end when that went to hell, just think of the Detroit game, or they couldn't stop a screen, and Ronnie Hickman has a pretty good ability to do that. He can get through congested areas of the field and get to the ball. Physical tackler, he wraps and finishes. That's one of the big upgrades that he would provide this New York Jets defense. Too many times we saw safeties doing little shoulder blocks to try to make a tackle. That ain't going to fly. All right? So I'm into Ronnie Hickman. He has elite numbers against the pass. His quarterback rating allowed only a 32.9 when he gets thrown on. So he can definitely play the pass well as well. The comp I've heard for him is Malik Hooker, which I definitely like. So to me, Hickman would be a good fit. I can't say he's my ideal. He's like my top safety or anything like that. But considering where the Jets are picking, if they came away with Hickman in the 5th round, I'd be good with that. And finally, 170, as far as the drafted players go, 170, I want to add a sub-linebacker. I really want to add a linebacker in this spot, and to me, it's definitely Dorian Williams from Tulane. Team captain, always important with the Jets. Athletic, great production. He moves a little bit like a big box safety, though. He's got these great bursts to the football. He's good in open field, great in coverage, runs well, can play sideline to sideline. Led the American Athletic Conference in tackles in 2020. The one thing he can do is be a little bit better of an open field tackler. That's one thing he can work on. I think he would start off more of as a special teamer, but could work his way in. And right now he still has, Nasruddin in front of him, Sherwood in front of him. But if everything were to work out, one of the comps that I've seen, Dom C made this comp, was Matt Milano. And just anybody who could be Matt Milano, I'll take my chances with him. So to recap, my 4 draft picks on days 2 and 3 would be mazismith, defensive tackle, Ricky Stromberg, center, Ronnie Hickman, safety, Dorian Williams, linebacker. But that's not all. I've got 2 more players I want to mention to you. So One thing that we've seen with Joe Douglas, every year he seems to find an undrafted free agent who makes the team and it produces to some level. Isaiah Dunn, Bam Knight, those two names come to mind immediately. I have two names in mind who I would like to see the Jets pick up off the waiver wire if they don't get drafted. Now, one of them, I think we would have to go with an edge rusher because we know this team, it's all about the edge rushers. It's hard for me to imagine a draft where the Jets don't come away with an edge rusher. But in this case, I think they got to go with the undrafted route, and it would be Viliamifehoko from San Jose State, 6'4", 263 pounds. He's got an 87.4 grade for his run defense, a 90.2 rush grade as far as pass rushing goes. And last year, he created the fourth most pressures of any defensive end, 66. From everything that we see with this tape, he is really showing that he could make a good translation over to the NFL, or a good transition over to the NFL. So I know San Jose State is not exactly known as a football powerhouse, but Viliamifehoko, if you're looking for a sleeper edge rusher, that could be one. But here's the guy that I'm excited about, and I tell you, I have not seen anyone talk about this player. Now, admittedly, I got a little bit of bias, because this guy plays at Hampton University, which is only 15 minutes away from where I live, okay, in Virginia. But it's Jadakisbonds, the wide receiver. Now, Jadakisbonds, was the go-to option in Hampton's passing game this season. He is 6'2", 200 pounds. He recorded an 80.6 receiving grade. He had 863 yards on 51 catches, 10 touchdowns. But here's what makes it more impressive to me. He had a 29% wide receiver usage mark. Hampton was a running team. They didn't go to Bonds a whole lot, and he still managed to put up double-digit touchdowns. So he just really was outclassing his competition, just a really talented athlete, and Hampton used him on the left side of the field, the right side of the field, inside, outside. He's very good at congested catches. When I was watching back his video, it was pretty much congested catches. He was always making the catches in coverage, and I saw some speed that I really, really liked. I feel like the Jets could use a wide receiver that they could develop. I'm ready to go to war with Corey Davis, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardeman, and certainly Garrett Wilson, plus throw in a couple of the tight ends that the Jets have. But I would like to see one young receiver they can bring along and Aaron Rodgers can elevate. And to me, it's Jadakisbonds from Hampton University. Well, those are my thoughts on the draft. I am so excited for Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday as well. We'll be recording more videos. I'll probably be jumping on with Ryan, Matt, and Greenbean on Friday. That's the plan. You never know where I might pop up, but I want to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.